us today. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube, how is everybody this Wellbeing Wednesday? Just saying to our friends on Instagram here that I have got my cup of matcha on the go. In case you saw it on this morning, I was back on air with Phil and Rochelle, because Holly had the day off. And anyway, they made some and I couldn't see what they were making because normally I can see on a little monitor what's happening in the studio because we're obviously doing it remotely. And for some reason the line went down, so I had no idea. So I could hear in my ear the reaction, but I couldn't see it. And I saw afterwards the reaction, Phil's face, oh my goodness. But I think, and again I haven't actually played the tape back to have a look, but I don't think they made it in the right way. So matcha, for those of you who missed it, is this extraordinary green leaf tea, and we've actually put an article about it on Liz Earle Wellbeing website. So if you've missed out and you want to catch up on what all the fuss is about with matcha, then it tastes, if you're not careful, it can taste really kind of grassy, a bit like, you know, big bunch of grass clippings, which doesn't sound too good, but you can make it taste really good. And the interesting thing about it is when you make tea, if you think about normal tea, you'll brew a tea with the tea leaves or a tea bag or whatever, and then you strain it off, and then you just drink the liquid. Yeah, so it's a bit like if you were cooking, I don't know, broccoli, for example, and you cook that in a bit of water, and then you strain the water off, and you leave the broccoli behind. So that's sort of what you're drinking. You're just drinking the liquid like an infusion. So with matcha, the difference is that they grind up the leaves into a very, very fine powder. And if you can see it, I don't want to tip it all over my my knees. It's what usually happens, isn't it, when I start to show things here. So yeah, I've tipped it up. There we go. Oh, and I've got green all over everywhere. Anyway, so this is the finely ground sort of powder of the leaf. And what you do is you make that ideally into like a sort of a frothy, milky drink like this one, or you can have it just like a black tea. I think that the purists probably in Asia would drink it just with hot water, and you're drinking the whole thing. So you're drinking the whole leaf. So all that polyphenol goodness, and it's been shown to be very high in an amino acid called L-theanine. And L-theanine is really interesting because it's one of those things that helps to keep us calm. And I don't know if any of you ever bought those Serenity B vitamins from Newson Health. Talked about them a long time ago. But when you look on the ingredients, they've got B vitamins and they've got theanine in the formula. And I remember talking to, I think it was Emma Ellis Flint about it, the nutritionist. And I say, why have you got theanine in this B complex vitamin? And she said, oh, that's because it really helps to keep you calm. And you find it in tea, which is why a regular cup of tea picks you up but also calms you down, if you get what I mean, because you get the pick-up effect from the caffeine in the tea, and then the theanine is giving you the calming feeling. So, a cup of tea is really good for that. However, matcha has a bit less caffeine, so it's not going to leave you so jangly. It has a little bit of caffeine, so it'll give you a tiny bit of a boost. But the theanine, it has a lot of theanine, so it will really help. So if you're feeling like a calming drink, then I do recommend a little bit of matcha. Anyway, I've popped an article up on it now live on lizearlewellbeing.com. Big thank you to Martha, who's in the house today on Facebook. Hi, Martha. Martha will put links, so if I talk about things, you'll find the links on Facebook. Obviously, we can't link directly on Instagram, so if you're new today, very warm welcome to Instagram. The way it works is I put links in my bio. So my bio is where I've got my little round picture with a few lines of blurb about me, and at the bottom there's a blue line of type, I think it says Linktree, and then a bit of text. If you click on that, that gives us our live links. But as I always say, all else fails, go to lizearlewellbeing.com because that is our mothership. So if you want to make a latte, that's a matcha latte. Something else that we didn't actually get around to showing in the show, I'll show you, are these. These are my matcha muffins. So you can also add your matcha powder if you are baking bread, if you're making cookies or muffins or whatever it is, a bit of pastry, you can add a little bit of matcha powder. So I've saved some muffins here to show you. Again, this is the recipe that's up on Liz Earle Wellbeing if you want it. These are low sugar muffins. I can't say they're no sugar because they've got a little bit of natural sugar and there's no added sugar, so I don't use any refined sugars at all. The sweetness from these muffins is coming from mashed banana and grated apple. So that's giving you the natural sweetness. And the dark colour is obviously coming from the matcha. Really nice. So I've made it with spelt flour because it's a bit more nutritious than regular flour, but you can use any flour. You know, if you wanted to make a high protein muffin, for example, you could use soya flour. You could use a gluten-free flour if you wanted to. And I've used extra virgin olive oil and eggs and a little bit of milk. So matcha powder in porridge, that's a good idea, Ali. Great. Very nice. Right, better stop eating, stop my snacking and crack on with today's little show, because today I want to talk about skin in particular and really focus on something that affects so many of us. It affects me, it affects all my children, and it's the most common actual childhood disorder in the Western world, and I'm talking about eczema. So eczema, you know, I've had a lifelong association with eczema. I have the atopic gene, so I'm predisposed to eczema. I've got to be really careful. I get eczema on my arms. I've had lots and lots of steroids as a child, and in fact one of my very first ventures into the world of well-being was to look at the time, very unconventional treatments and help for eczema. And my very first book, Vital Oils, was very much born out of that, wanting to find the research into the good fats and oils that would help my skin. I discovered evening primrose oil, which I found really helpful. Didn't sort out the complete issue, but was certainly part of the solution for me. Changing my diet, looking at different things that, you know, avoiding things like sodium lauryl sulfate, avoiding synthetic sunscreens, all those things, all part of the journey. And in fact, I've written many, many books over the years that include help for eczema, and there is a very specific one. If eczema is something that's really bothering you, then you can go online, and I think it's a $1.99 download on Amazon, and it's just called, it's the Liz Earle Quick Guide to Dry Skin and Eczema, and it's packed with loads of information, nutritional, skincare, lots of different conventional therapies, as well as complementary therapies, so it really is in there. Yeah, sugar, absolutely, Sue, you're right. Atopic since childhood. Sugar plays a big part in that. And in fact, if you want to know a little bit more about sugar and inflammation, make sure you tune into this Friday's podcast. I've got a really special guest for my Friday 5, and we talk exactly about that. Love it how it all gets linked together. Oh, I've just missed a comment there on Facebook. Can you use grated carrot instead of banana? Yeah, absolutely, you could. Yeah, you can use anything that gives you that sort of nice moist texture. You can also use beetroot, you can use courgette, you know, experiment. It's like, you know, using carrot cake. You can use, you know, grated carrots in recipes. Thank you, Martha, for putting that up. Yeah, so it's called the Liz Earle Wellbeing Quick Guide to Dry Skin and Eczema. There's a link that Martha's just popped up on Facebook. You'll also find a link if you want it on the Liz Earle Wellbeing website. If you go to where it says shop, you'll see the menu, and it says ebooks and books and magazines and all sorts of other things. Can't remember all the other things that we have. Notebooks that we have now. My goodness, my lovely little notebooks. Just to say, these have been flying out. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that they're popular, because this actually came as an idea from Instagram. So with many of you actually saying that, you know, you have to watch my Instagram or Facebook lives with a notebook to write everything down, just to jot down, as to kind of remind what to look up later. So we've done this little set. So there's the little flower one there that says "and breathe." There's the little honeycomb one, and there's the plain one that just says "live, love, laugh." Little wellbeing notebooks. We signed the back of them. So you can get these. They're £7.50 for a set of 3 if you fancy. I love them. They're a great size, great kind of handbag size or bedside table size or whatever. But you do get them free with every signed book. So that's the other thing to mention. My yearbook 2, my Good Gut Guide, and my Menopause Guide. You get them free. Anyway, let's get back to eczema, because that's the main topic of today, and I'm really delighted to be joined by a special guest, a researcher who I've known for many, many years. I think we possibly first met back in maybe 2015, talking about a really interesting nutritional supplement that really works. This is evidence-based stuff that works for help with eczema and dry skin. So if that's something that is of a concern to you or your family, or you're just interested in learning more, then Dr. Peter Luebcke is the chap that we need to be talking to. So we are, what are we saying here? Have I ever covered cellulite? Yes, I have covered cellulite, but we're talking eczema today. We'll talk about cellulite another day. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Liz. How are you? Nice to see you.
Very nice to see you again. I haven't seen you for a long time. I think probably since the launch of Pelimex, which we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, it seems like years, but
yeah. Is it all going well?
It's all going really well. Yeah,
Good.
We've got lots of new products coming through, and the website's being developed. So yeah, and we're getting lots of really good testimonials for our Pelimex product.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, that's what we're specifically going to be talking about today. So just to say, for anybody who wants to get a little bit of background here, the website is called Curapella, isn't it? Curapella.com.
Correct.
I quite like that. I mean, I've got obviously, Italian members of my family, and Pella being Italian for skin. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Curapella, curing the skin. Lots of help for skin. And this particular thing that we're talking about, and we do have a Liz Loves discount, by the way. Thank you very much. Liz Loves, all in capitals, 15% off. Is that off everything on your website, or just the Pelimex?
Well, just the Pelimex, because currently that is our only product, but we will have new things coming through.
Okay.
And that's what.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this arrived through my letterbox. It's quite heavy, so it's really good. You've got this that can be, slotted through a letterbox. And it says on here, Pelimex, make every day a great skin day.
Exactly.
This is what it looks like. So you get these little sachets, and it's one a day. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. You can drink it straight from the sachet, or what I like to do is actually dissolve it in a glass of water, because it makes a nice, refreshing drink. It's just kind of an orangey.
Makes a nice orangey drink. Okay, well, I'm going to...
Right.
Let me just take a little bit out of that. But you can just have it kind of straight from the sachet, can you?
That's like it. So they're pretty good for travel. So you can put a few in, go off for a few days or whatever, and self-contained, just rip it off. No need to have water, but you can if you want, and just drink it straight from the sachet, yeah.
Now this, it has a very, very special ingredient, unique ingredient. It also has biotin, zinc, amino acids, and B vitamins, so that's good. Yeah. But let's talk about the particular ingredient in this, because this, again, as you know, as my friends here know, everything that I like to talk about has to be evidence-based. And I love it when I can connect with doctors, research scientists, clinicians. This is not some kind of fancy marketing gimmick. This has been going for a while. And it's dermatologically tested, so I know that, because I've seen it, the clinical trials from years ago when we first started talking about this, because I was just so interested when I was writing my books on eczema. I was very interested to hear about it. So what is the story behind Pelimex? What is in it, and why is it so good for people with eczema?
Good question. So everybody has a protein in their skin called filaggrin. So this is in the top layer of the skin. So this out allergens and irritants and pollutants and things like that, but it also keeps moisture in.
Right.
We've all got filaggrin in our skin. But people with some degree of eczema, let's say, have reduced amounts of filaggrin, so that means it lets in more allergens and irritants to cause the itching and scratching, but it also lets moisture out, which is like a double whammy of an if you like. So if you can actually boost the production of filaggrin in your skin, then actually you go quite a long way to addressing both of those two, problems, the irritant being in and the moisture going out. So it actually works with the skin biology, and the amino acid that's in here actually is a main building block for that protein.
For filaggrin.
Exactly. So we're supplying extra for those people that have a problem making the filaggrin, so they can make more of it, and that creates the barrier. And the other quite neat thing about filaggrin, it gradually breaks down into something called natural moisturizing factor. So simultaneously moisturizing your skin as well as strengthening. You get this double whammy of working with the biology to make your skin resilient and nourishing it from the inside.
So in terms of aging, preventing aging skin, I mean, I remember, obviously having worked in skincare back in the day, natural moisturizing factors, the shortened version, NMFs. People talk about, how much, what NMFs do you have in your skincare and that kind of thing. So this is providing those natural moisturizing factors from the inside?
It is, and I think that's another key point. So you've hit the nail on the head again. Being more of a sort of holistic product, by nourishing your skin from the inside, it kind of means you don't need to wait for a flare up somewhere on your skin to rush for the emollient or rush for the steroid cream, because it's strengthening your skin from the inside all over evenly.
All over. Okay, so we're getting a few questions already coming in, I can see. So 3 questions I can see there. First of all, does it work with psoriasis?
So the answer to that is we haven't tested this in psoriasis, so we can't.
You're not allowed to make a medical claim if you haven't been clinically tested. I'm sure you've had lots of testimonials though from people who found it beneficial.
We have, and our new website that's going live quite soon will have real testimonials on there, and it's worked wonders for lots of people.
Lots of. I mean, I would imagine any kind of skin barrier degrading skin condition where that barrier function gets broken and the filaggrin is missing, so you might be looking at rosacea or psoriasis, particularly eczema. It's got the potential, hasn't it, there to be really helpful.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like to think that we're all somewhere along a spectrum of barrier function, and at the healthy end, people don't notice any difference, but maybe right down the other end, your eczema, and then somewhere in the middle, have dry, sensitive skin. You might have sort of, as skin ages, it gets drier, and you might have hormonal induced changes like menopause. Again, that could cause. So anything along that spectrum that kind of keeps the skin resilient and keeps the moisture in.
Interesting.
So in theory, everyone's a potential customer, but the further down the eczema end you are, the effect you'll see. That's
really interesting, because I know, going through menopause and certainly kind of perimenopause years, my eczema did flare up, and I think, I'm losing all sorts of capacity all the time, but our skin gets degraded. We know that we lose collagen, we lose the hormones that are creating and helping to regulate barrier function, so never more so important, I think. What I like about it is it's completely safe, isn't it? It's completely natural. There's no side effects. You have to worry about contraindications if you're taking any other kind of medicine.
No, it's just a food supplement, and the amino acid is an essential amino acid too, so this is one that the body needs to consume. So the non-essential ones you can create, you can make in your body. So amino acid here is an essential one that you do need from your diet, so we're effectively just supplying more of it. And what about babies and children, we're being asked here? I imagine you haven't got your medical license for children yet, have you? Well, it's a food supplement, so it is categorized as a food supplement. But we have an infant or a child junior version of this coming out, which is more of a chewable gummy supplement. So kids love the gummies, and we're going to have exactly the same ingredients, obviously at a lower dose. That should be out hopefully in the next month or two. So that will be aimed at children, again completely safe, and a vegan, be sort of a pectin-based chewable, and we're really looking forward to that, because obviously 20% of the population of children, actually have only 4% of adults. So it's actually so 4% of adults have eczema, 20% of children. Some degree of it. They do grow out of it. But it's quite a big part. It is, isn't it? And what sort of results have you seen? Obviously, I remember. I haven't connected with you. I actually came to the launch, obviously, back in whenever that was, 2017. And was really impressed by the science and the data. You've obviously now been going for a number of years since then. What have people been seeing? What have people been telling you? Yeah, absolutely. We get people writing in saying it's made a huge difference to their lives. The skin, the outer layer, the epidermis works is that there's kind of like a 28-day turnover of skin cells. So we find people will see a big improvement probably in sort of 3 to 4 weeks if they've got some degree of eczema. Of course, healthier skin, that marginal improvement is may take, but should benefit everybody though. Yeah. So if you've got active eczema, I know that I can see questions here on Facebook as well. People getting eczema around the eyes. I mean, this seems to be quite common, whether it's, I don't know, through wearing eye makeup or what, or whether it's just the eyelids are so thin, perhaps. It does seem to be a classic place to get eczema. It could be, and there's lots of different types of dermatitis as well, of course. So there's contact dermatitis,
right.
and eczema is known as atopic dermatitis. So it could be that they have dry, sensitive skin, and that makeup or whatever they're putting on is simply irritating their skin. Even in their case, if the barrier was stronger, you can imagine that makeup stays more on the surface, doesn't sink in so far to irritate the skin.
So for irritated skin conditions, rashes, areas of irritation and dryness and soreness, this really has the potential to help then?
Certainly has the potential. Again, we haven't tested it in all different types of dermatitis, but atopic dermatitis is the prevalent one, the main one, and it's certainly adults and children.
So let's talk about the testing that you have done, because I know you have done clinical testing to be able to say that it can help with eczema, haven't you?
That's right, yeah. We started with an adult study several years ago, and we've since done a paediatric study, both with a adult. Within about 4 weeks, clinician-measured metrics on these clinical studies, up to 30, 40, nearly 50% improvement in symptoms of eczema. Again, what we did, we recruited people or children with eczema rather than the average population. So was studying eczema itself specifically.
Very interesting. And of course, the great thing about it is it's a food supplement, so you've got no contraindications. It's safe. You've got a few little extra vitamins in there as well.
Exactly,
You can just add it in. It's not going to interfere with anything else. And presumably, if you already have eczema, you may be using other therapeutic medications. You might be using a steroid cream or something else. So that will then help to reduce the need for that. You may end up using less of that, maybe?
Precisely. In fact, we did a survey soon after we launched this, and we were noticing people could reduce their steroid cream use by up to a third.
Wow.
Per week. So we're actually reducing the need for a prescription medicine in effect. Although, we would be very careful to say this is a food supplement. So
it's a food supplement, exactly. So it's it's working with the body. That's what I like about it. You're not kind of just kiboshing and suppressing an immune response, for example. You're strengthening the barrier function that is being broken by having degraded filaggrin. And this filaggrin ingredient in our skin, do we know why some people are so susceptible to having a loss of it? I mean, that's obviously part of the whole atopic gene, is it?
That's right. So it's a filaggrin mutation in the gene, which means they find it harder to produce filaggrin. So they can be quite susceptible. So stress or dietary triggers can actually suddenly have an effect on the body's ability to make that filaggrin in the first place. So it's a predisposition to having flare-ups and outbreaks.
And this is something that you take every day. You have to keep topping up your levels, do you?
Well, you do. I mean, if you miss a day, it's not a problem, because it's like a cumulative effect. So as you take it each day, the skin gets stronger and stronger, more resilient. You miss a day, well, that's probably not a problem, but try and take it every day if you can, and then that will really build up that resilience and that filaggrin protein in the skin.
Right. Okay. And then if you are, I love the way that you pack this. You get this little box that comes through the letterbox with your one a day. So how many are in here? Is it 30 in here? I haven't counted them all.
Yeah, you get 30 days. The boxes you've just shown there fits nicely through the letterbox. You don't need to be. And we've got subscriptions on the website too, so you can subscribe and get 15% off, or just buy a one-off box, see if it works for you.
Do we get the Liz Loves discount on top of that, do you think?
At the moment, it's next to.
Okay.
There's obviously a full price.
Okay, so you could try one box, couldn't you, and then see what you like at the discount with the Liz Loves discount.
That's right.
If you took it every day for a month, so say you're good thinking, I want to get on top of my eczema, I need to control this irritated skin, whichever condition it is. Try it for psoriasis, for example. If you took it every day for a month, would you then expect to see a difference by the end of that month? You would. My sort of note to that is the more extreme your eczema, let's say, or dry skin condition, the more of an So if you would consider yourself having perfectly healthy skin, you can imagine
your skin's already producing filaggrin, you might see less of an effect.
Yeah.
Somewhere along that spectrum, the further down the end you go, actually the more that you'll see an effect. That's what we've noticed.
Yeah. And if somebody wanted to give it to, youngsters, I'm thinking, I've got an 11-year-old, for example, I could give maybe half a sachet. I mean, I know that you're not allowed to sort of, say anything about dosage for children, so I'm just kind of talking to myself out loud here, so I'm just going to plug my phone back in. That is presumably what some people would do. Yes,
some people certainly do that. I mean, it is positioned for age 12 years and above at the moment.
Yeah.
You could use your common sense and just, a third, a half or something.
Yeah.
Be a problem because it's all safe.
It's all safe, exactly. You're just looking at, things that you find in food anyway. You're not anything artificial.
Exactly.
But just very cleverly put together and very targeted. And I think, what I love about the whole direction that wellness and well-being and, to a certain extent medicine is going, is it's becoming much more targeted, isn't it? We're really finding certain compounds and ingredients that are being isolated that we know specifically help if you take them outside of just generally in food and just, really focus on those extra bits that you need, whether you found that out through genetic testing or whatever. It's just so powerful, so helpful.
Yeah, and that's always been our sort of raison d'etre, is to find naturally occurring compounds, let's say, which address the root cause of skin conditions. So it's not some kind of artificial thing you'd put on the top skin. It's working with the skin to address the root cause, which is exactly what Pelimex does.
And your website, just because I'm being asked again on Instagram, it's curapella.com. Quite a few questions here about histamine, a histamine connection. I wonder if histamine makes eczema worse. I know that, if I get hay fevery and I get that histamine response, my skin does become itchier.
There is a connection, but there is no connection that we know of between taking this amino acid in this product and the creation of histamine.
Yeah. So would it be safe then for somebody who's histamine intolerant, do you think?
I'm not really in a position to say that as the company, but we would always say talk to your GP if there's any concern at all.
Yeah.
But as I said, not aware of any connection.
I haven't seen any connection with histamine and amino acids.
No.
So that's an interesting point.
Yeah, safe as far as we know.
Yeah. And tell us what else you're working on then, because I know a lot of people are going to be going and having a look at your website. Sounds so interesting.
Yeah, so on that website will only be the Pelimex so far, but as I mentioned, it's chewable gummies coming through. That's very soon.
Nice.
We're looking at other formats for this too, so possibly a powder sachet that you can just dissolve in. It'll make this a little bit smaller and the box a little bit less heavy. Yeah. We've also got a topical cream coming through for psoriasis, so that is for psoriasis.
Oh, interesting. You must let me know about that. When do you expect that one?
Well, we've already sort of formulated it, and we're going into manufacturing, into production pretty soon.
Great. Well, you must send me some to test. I'd love to try it.
We will. And again, that's targeting the root cause of psoriasis, which is a completely different mechanism to eczema.
Ooh, interesting.
And it comes out of the university research that, founded the company in the first place.
That's right. Remind me, which university were you all working at?
Yes, well, it wasn't myself. It was my colleague, Dr Neil Gibbs, and he was at the University of Manchester, at the dermatology centre there. And sort of years, if not decades, of research went into the products we're creating, looking at the mechanism, the cause of these conditions, and then saying, right, what safe, naturally occurring compounds can target that root cause? And that's coming into all our products. That's how we work. So.
Very interesting. It's lovely to chat to you again, Peter. It's really good to catch up. And I'm so pleased that it's all going well, and I'm sure there's going to be a big response because, eczema, as we know, for ourselves and for our children and our partners and, all sorts, is just such an issue for so many. And if we can find something that's safe and simple and effective, that really helps, and it's clinically proven to help, then, that's such a good thing. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. It's really nice talking to you again.
Thank you, and don't forget to send me your cream. I want to try it.
Right, it'll be in the post as soon as it's ready.
Fabulous. Give my best to Neil and everybody else, won't you? Very nice to chat, Peter. Thank you. Bye now. Bye. Now you have to remove yourself, because I think if I risk pressing anything, I might disconnect everybody, and I wouldn't want to do that. Wasn't that just so interesting? I have to say, you know, over all the years that I've been writing about skin and skin health, eczema is one of those things that just comes up time and time and time again. And extraordinary, 20% of children in this country are affected by eczema. And sometimes it can be really, really debilitating. You know, you can get lack of sleep because of the scratching, and there's this famous cycle, the itch, scratch, itch cycle. You know, it itches, so you scratch it, and that just makes it itchier, so you then want to scratch it some more, and you know, and it just dreadful. And I remember actually researching in my book so many different things that can help, and you can use colloidal silver in clothes. That's very calming. So there are links there to clothing, you know, pajamas and things that have this silver woven in. There are lots of different food supplements that can help, and lots of different medications as well that are being used. So it's really about getting on top of it. And you know, even now I've got a little tube of steroid cream, and if I get an outbreak, it's really worth nipping it in the bud. You don't want it to develop. It's worth using that just for a few days, just to control a flare-up, so it doesn't get out of control. But obviously if you're somebody with atopic eczema or another skin condition like that, you know, using something like this every day, you know, to help prevent that and to keep the skin strong. And fascinating, isn't it, all about filigrein, all these things that we never even knew existed. How many people had heard of the word filigrein? I must say that even, you know, my years of writing about skin, that filigrein is only recently coming onto everybody's radar, really, as being such an important thing. So there we go. Oh my goodness. Comment here. Mr. V will be delighted that there's a parcel for him. Yeah, you see, that's great. It's for anybody, isn't it? It's for, you know, young, old, male, female, anybody with skin. Okay, so if you're late to the party on Facebook, we were talking about this. This is a month's supply that comes through the door of something called Pelimex. And they are clinical researchers, as Peter said, that came out of Manchester University, the dermatology department there, Dr Neil Gibbs, who I met many times back in the day. And these, now Peter was saying that he adds this to water to make a drink. I'm just going to take it straight from the sachet. Quite kind of tangy, quite inoffensive, orangey sort of flavour. So, there you go. One a day for 30 days. Let me know how you get on if you do get it. And get your 30-day. Use Liz Loves as your code if you want for 15% off. I would love to hear. Right. More on eczema, actually, is a very good podcast with Dr. Sharon Wong, leading dermatologist and expert in eczema and inflammatory skin conditions. She's also great on acne as well. So I think, Martha, you can probably pop a link, can't you, on Facebook, if you want to see that, or listen to it rather, Dr. Sharon Wong. Actually, I think you can possibly see it as well. I think we might have recorded it on YouTube. So I know a lot of you actually watch the podcast on YouTube as well as listen to them. So there's always that option now. We put them onto the podcast app, onto the website, but you can also go onto YouTube, because sometimes it's quite nice to see people talking, or maybe you've got it on your laptop or your phone, and you just want to, you know, you can see in the background, and you just get a measure, I guess, of who the person is, and I guess their facial expressions, and I don't know, it kind of brings it to life, doesn't it? So whether you just want the audio, or whether you want the audio visual, we bring it to you in the round. So Dr. Sharon Wong, very good, talking about eczema, if that is an issue for you or your family. And don't forget that there's my little quick guide. I think it's only on Amazon, because I think it's one of their Amazon services. I updated it a few years ago now, so I haven't looked at it for a while, but it is my Wellbeing quick guide to dry skin and eczema. And again, because it's digital, it's online, then there are lots of links in there to helpful things. So hopefully that is a good one. Now, we do write a lot in the magazine about skin conditions. Oops, I've got my new copy here. Who has received theirs? Please let me know. Do you have? You like my shutters? Yeah, they are pretty, aren't they? They're based on an Indian design in my studios. I'm up here in London for a bit of work. So I'm very fortunate for the magazine. I've got a really great writing team, and Ellie Smith, who is my senior health and beauty writer, she writes a lot about skin, and we've got everything in here. So for example, this is Alice Hart Davis, you may know from her Tweakments. She writes about all sorts of gadgets. I mean, she's great, Alice. She's a real old school journalist, been writing for a long time, and she, you know, reviews lots and lots of different things and tweaks and procedures and all that kind of stuff that she goes for, and she does it all herself. It's quite amazing. So I love reading her writing. And then we've got, so there's the Health and Beauty Edit. That's got lots of beauty things on. And I'm trying to see where Ellie's feature is. So I'm writing about glutathione. There's also a lovely feature on Ruby Hammer. Do you remember Ruby? Talking about Ruby, her life in makeup. Really nice to read that. Can you believe it that she's 60? Or nearly 60? I forget now. There's a picture of her there. Amazing. What an inspiration she is. We've got some homemade beauty made with roses. It's a bit of a rosy. Oh, here we go. So this was, yeah, I knew it was a good feature. So this is all about amino acids. How about that in skincare? So this is talking all about the different amino acids and, you know, supplements for skin, different skin creams. So that's really one of the things that Ellie focuses on, and she will do a lot of research and then write it all up in the magazine. So I hope you all have your copy. Let me know what you think. There is a special subscriber deal, of course, on at the moment. So go to lizarwellbeing.com and you can find there. Yeah, and lovely Amy and her yoga. So where are these yoga pictures? Yeah, here we go. There's me doing some of my yoga stretches. Anyway, I won't show too much because I often get into trouble when I reveal too much about the magazine, because I know you like to open it up and have it as a surprise, so I won't share too much. But just one other thing, actually two other things, bear with me. Two things I want to show you. And one is, I've actually got the real thing here to show you because we've written about it. It's brand new, needs a bit of a drum roll. Haven't mentioned it here yet at all. So where did I see it? I saw it in here. Here we go. Da da da, you ready? Yes. Brand new for summer. This is the Earle Wellbeing Rose and Raspberry Kombucha drink. It is just amazing. I love these guys. It's brewed on the farm in Hampshire. I've got one here to show you. It's Mighty Brew, who I love. And I will show you, I have got pictures to share with you because I went to see the fermentation process. And you know when you're brewing kombucha, you might do it in a kiln jar and you've got your little SCOBY growing on top of the jar. Well, this is like 3,000 litres in a vat that's like, I mean, wider than my arm span, with this enormous SCOBY on top of it. I mean, just crazy. And they brew it, and they brew it for about 6 weeks, and then it's double fermented. And what I really like about these guys, and I've known them for years, they are the real deal. They're not just adding in flavours, so they're using real organic rose petal extracts. They're using real organic raspberries, and they are brewing them, proper long fermented brewing. And this is the difference between something that's quickly made commercially. The second brewing is apparently the secret. So it's the second brewing, and that's what gives it this unbelievably high probiotic activity and this amazing flavour. And what they did, look, it's got my name on it. Isn't that exciting? So this is a really heavy bottle because this is a proper champagne bottle. So it's got, you know, its little dimple in the bottom. So if you want to take this as a celebration drink for the summer, you know, if you want to pop a few corks, or is it May the 17th? Not only is it my birthday, but it's the day when hopefully we're all allowed to travel. So, you know, pop some solid celebration corks with something non-alcoholic that tastes really good. It looks like pink champagne. You can serve it in a champagne flute. And it gets that flavour of the soft roses and the raspberries with your probiotic drink. So it's great, isn't it? And it's got this little gold foil stopper. This actually hasn't got the gold full stopper. It was a mock-up because it was made just before. It's literally coming off out of the warehouse now. But there you go, Mighty Brew Heritage Organic Kombucha inspired by English meadows. Earle Wellbeing Blush Rosé. Non-alcoholic, serve chilled. Great. So excited to share that with you. And it is flying. It's limited edition, but it is flying. So just to warn you, okay? Yeah, and you got 10% off as well. That's great, with Liz Loves. On all Mighty Brew. So if you want to try some of the others, they've got great flavours. Really, really good. So that's it there. If you've got your magazine and want to read a bit more about it, we've also popped it on the website. It is page 58 of the magazine. So single bottles are £11 each, or you get a £12 saving when you buy a case of 6. And you get free UK P&P on all orders over £35. So that's good, because that's quite heavy to ship, isn't it? And it says here, don't forget to use the code LizLoves to enjoy a 10% discount. And you can go to mightybrew.com. Yeah, your son loves Mighty Brew. I think it's great to be able to have really good quality non-alcoholic alternatives. You know me, I love a glass of wine. Definitely love a nice glass of wine. But I try and pace myself. And if I can start the evening with something that's, you know, a bit celebratory, a bit fizzy, and, you know, nicely chilled, tastes really good. I just, you know, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And then I'm just less inclined to drink quite so much as the evening progresses. And of course, you're doing your gut some good. It's not like just drinking a tonic water or something. You know, you're actually putting something good, really good, back into your body. So before I go, something else I want to tell you about that is completely free, which you are going to love. Trust me, you're going to absolutely love it. And that is, we have here something long awaited, if I can find it. So many pages here. Here we go. And it is our competition. Yes, you can win. You can win the Cell Return Mask. Isn't that amazing? £1,900 full price. 4th generation LED platinum mask. This is mine. I travel with it. I take it everywhere. So, you know, if I'm on the farm, I have it. If I'm here in London, I have it. That's what it looks like underneath the cover. You can have the cover on or off. Absolutely extraordinary. Used it last night. Use it every night. But of course, it is a really expensive piece of kit. We still have our 10% discount. So there's still Liz Loves on your Cell Return if you want it. But for everybody who would like the opportunity to win one, it's a totally free to enter competition. Just go to lizellwellbeing.com and click enter, and that's it. And, you know, as I always say, somebody has to win it. Somebody has to. You've entered, Sharon. That's great. I know. Somebody has to win it, okay? So Cell Return. I hope you've seen that. Cell Return. Ellie, are you talking about the mask? Yeah. So you just enter the competition, because, yeah, be amazing. I can't wait to see who's going to win it. I am not allowed to enter. Well, A, I already have one, which is great, but B, I'm connected party, so I can't enter. So, won't be me, it'll be one of you. How exciting is that? Right, a few little questions just to answer before I go. Oh, this is a hello. Actually, this is a birthday hello. And I'm not sure whether you are watching on Instagram or Facebook, so let's see. Your name is Marie Morgan. Hello, Marie. Are you watching me live? Now, the reason I'm saying hello to you is because you are going to be 64 on Friday. There you go. Your daughter's told me to say that, so I hope you don't mind it being shared with the world. And they have written to me to say, Marie has religiously followed the lives and says you've helped her get through lockdown. She's treated her daughters, who are an NHS speech therapist, wow, and a performing arts teacher. Gosh, that is creatively good, isn't it? To the Life Code GX kit. Isn't that amazing? So you've had your Life Code GX results. Let me know how it went. Changed my life, changed my family's, my daughter in particular. And it says she uses her signed yearbook all the time, and it would mean the world to her to hear you say happy birthday. So Marie, I'm sorry it's a few days early, but I hope you're going to get in plenty of celebrations. maybe a bottle of this for your birthday to celebrate, something fizzy. Really nice to hear that my lives have been helpful in some way this past year. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for all your support. So pleased that Life Code GX has worked really well. And yeah, I hope you love my yearbook too and are cooking lots of things. Very nice to have connected with you through your daughters. So happy birthday to Marie. A couple of other messages here. Deborah on Facebook says, the magazine just arrived. Just pick up this that's fallen from it because you mentioned this. Smells amazing. Have you noticed that? Smells amazing thanks to the Total Wardrobe Care insert. Always cheers me up. Well, this, we have there's a 10% discount actually on this little hanger. Smells great. Keeps the moths away, and I love it. Total Wardrobe Care, they have that amazingly clever moth decoy. Really good. So yeah. And I just thought, wasn't it so nice that we had something scented in the magazine? I wonder if we can do that again, to mention that to my team. I think it would be great that when you open it, you get something. You don't want it to be too strong. I don't particularly like some of those perfumey ones, but just something that's got a little bit of something like this, a little impregnated card. Very nice. Yours doesn't smell. Why doesn't it smell, Marion? This smells. Did you get your little thing with it? Did you give that a sniff? Yeah, definitely. It smells of sort of cedarwood and sort of citrusy patchouli. Very nice. I'm just going in my wardrobe later. So Sally on Facebook says, hi Liz, love all your videos and podcasts, so informative and interesting. I will soon be starting to watch your videos on the menopause. Thank you for all. You always look so glam. That's from Sally. Well, thank you very much. I've got a nice light in front of me. A bit of lippy. Always helps, doesn't it? Yeah, lots of menopause on YouTube. So if you haven't yet tuned into that, please do. Hope you're all subscribed to the YouTube channel. Got a new YouTube, which you won't want to miss. That's going up tomorrow, live. Again, really informative, good stuff. That's a menopause-related one, actually going up tomorrow. Sarah on Facebook says, thank you to Lily and Cell Return for the competition prize. Yeah, thank you to Lil. And a couple more just before I go. Gillian on Facebook says, can HRT cause dry skin where you apply it? Yeah, potentially, if your skin is sensitive to the gel, then or the patch. So yeah, potentially it could do. You could try different forms. You can get a spray now, which you might find that your skin likes better, or you could change the patch, or you could rub it in different bits of your body, maybe to kind of just, you know, change where you're applying it. And lastly here, Iveta on Instagram says, do you have any tips for matcha beginners? So yeah, my matcha. Yes, absolutely. Go to Earle Wellbeing. And definitely, if you go to the website, you will find a whole thing on how to make matcha tea. I've also popped a few links to the things that I liked, because I tried lots of different matcha things when I was making it. I'm doing my kind of research for this morning. So this is one of the ones that I like. It's the Ceremonial Matcha, which I find tastes a little bit sweeter than some of the others. Some of the others are like really strong. But this one's Spring Blossom, and it's organic, it's from Japan, and it's kind of the real one. So I really like that, so I've popped a link on the Facebook page. Another little tip, of course, when you're making matcha is if you want to sweeten it, do use a little bit of honey. I actually found this in my fridge up here in London, and it's this morning honey. So I must have been given this jar. It's called Willoughby honey, as in Willoughby with the B. Yeah, because of Holly Willoughby, obviously. So they used to have hives on top of the TV centre before they moved, and they had this morning honey. And I remember being in the studios one day, and they were just kind of gathering all in, and it was my lucky day because they said, "Oh, would you like a jar of this morning honey?" So it's about half gone, but of course, honey is one of those things that, you know, if you keep it cool and dark. I keep mine in the fridge actually, but you know, it does last. It's extraordinary. They've even found in pyramids, they found honey samples in old pharaoh tombs, and they've analysed it and found that it's still got antibacterial properties. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely incredible. Anyway, there's lots more about honey. If you want to know more about honey, lots more on the Earle Wellbeing website. So yeah, Karen, there's always so much to say, isn't there? And always kind of darting off on a tangent. So I hope that you have enjoyed today. So today we are Wellbeing Wednesday, which means tomorrow, Thursday, there's a new YouTube video going up live. Friday, of course, I will be back live at lunchtime if you're watching in the UK time. We also have the Friday 5 podcast, which you definitely want to listen to, and also the newsletter. So if you've not yet subscribed to the newsletter, that goes out every Friday afternoon. So it's completely free. So just if you're on the website, if you're on the Earle Wellbeing website entering the competition, make sure that you sign up for the newsletter and you will get that as well. Manuka honey, good for eczema. Excellent, good to know that. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for your love. Great to see you all. I'll be back with you live on Friday. Until then, loads to check out on the website. So I hope you enjoy it all. Have a great day. Bye.